Okay, so now that we've got the structure covered, we're going to get back to work on my menu that we started because I actually told you guys to do something wrong. But anyways, before we do that, let's go to my desktop because I have a folder with audio, images, just some different things we're going to use throughout this tutorial. And when it comes time for you guys to do things like this, you'll just make something in Paint real fast or whatever. I'm gonna go move this into my project folder. I'm gonna put it under source, and it's gonna be called res, and we want to remember that because we're gonna reference it later. Eclipse, sometimes you need to make sure when you're importing more things or just adding folders, you need to make sure you go down and refresh, and that will import all of my stuff that was in the folder. Okay, so let's start in the game class, because what I told you incorrectly. Okay, we'll start here in the constructor, because what we need to do is we need to set our size of the frame, because I don't like the default size and I want to change it. So we're going to say set 4:3 ratio, because we're going to use a 4:3 ratio. And we're going to say width equals 800. And so this method will set the width to 800, and then it will calculate the height based on the 4:3 ratio. And then we'll say set size, and this is what's actually going to change the size to our width and our height. So that resets the size of the frame. Now we also, what we did not do in the first tutorial is we did not add our panel to the game. So we need to say game.add panels.get current panel, and that adds it to our frame. And again, if you're running Linux, don't hit run yet. You'll be able to at the end of this tutorial, but for now just don't, because you'll freeze, and we don't want to do that to your computer. So, okay, we're gonna do some more work in the menu. And first, let's start with the buttons. So our menu is gonna have 2 buttons, and we're gonna make a private class because we're only gonna use these buttons once, and that's gonna be on this game panel. So we're gonna make a private class called start, and it's going to extend the button class. And then we got to import button from tools. Don't import it from the AWT, sorry. Import it from tools. And then we're going to add the constructor. And so we're going to get rid of all these parameters because we don't need these. And then we're going to change our text to start. We're going to make a new rectangle, and the rectangle is going to represent the size and location of the box around our button, and you'll see in a minute what I'm doing. So we're going to put this at driver.width divided by 2 minus, let's say 50. And we'll do the same thing for the height. And then for the actual width, we're going to put it at 100, and our height's going to be 100 as well for now. Our X offset, I'm just going to put that at 40, but I'm really just guessing at this point. Okay, and then we also need to add this method. We need to override it, sorry, called clicked. And for now, it's not really going to do anything. We'll just do this so we can test it. System.out.println start clicked. That way we know it's working. And then we're going to copy this private class, and we're going to do another one. And this one's going to be exit. And change our text. Change the name of our constructor. Our X position is going to be the same. Our Y position needs to be higher. And I'm thinking, let's put it at 80 for now. Sorry, not minus 80, plus 80. And then, instead of saying this, we're going to say exit clicked. And then we're going to do one more thing. Whenever you want to close the program, you should always call the driver method. And so we're going to say game dot, hold on, I can't remember if this is a static access or, I don't think it is. Game dot destroy. And this will get rid of all the resources that might cause an issue when you close. That way, when you close the game, it's completely closed. So that's our exit and start. But that doesn't mean that those are only the private classes. We need to get those onto the game panel. So we're going to go up here to our menu class, and we're going to say private button start and exit. And then down here we're going to say start equals new start, and exit equals new exit. And then we'll go down here and we need to make sure, so your paint method is what's going to draw everything onto the panel. Just like how we're drawing a black background, we need to go on here and draw our buttons. So we're going to say start.render and exit.render. And so I'm going to go put these other methods at the bottom. We need 2 more methods. One is mouse released, and the other is mouse moved. Get rid of these 2 new things. I really need to tell Eclipse not to do that. Okay, so we're going to say start dot clicked and exit dot clicked. So whenever the mouse is clicked, it's going to tell both of these objects that something's been clicked, and then the object is going to check what exactly was clicked. And then over here we're going to say mouse moved, and this is going to give us our hovering action. So when the mouse moves into our little area, our little button, it will change colors. And I think we got everything. And let's make sure we did by running it. And there you go. You got 2 buttons, and if you click this one, well, we got a small issue. Apparently both of them were clicked. Not entirely sure why, actually. and I may have to stop the video. Okay, I'm back. So the mistake I made was kind of stupid, but really easy to make, and I'm kind of glad I did. So what happened is we're calling exit clicked, right? Well, this is the clicked method. So we're not checking if it's in that area. And then I realized that we just called the wrong method, and the methods are named really close. What we want to call is mouse clicked, and then that will fix our problem. So I'm just going to copy this, because we got to do this like 3 times. Well, it's okay for these. We don't have to change this, but we do have to change that. So now when I run, I can go over here to start, and then my console says start clicked, and if I click exit, it says exit clicked, all bit streams closed, all audio resources disposed of, and it closes without creating any issues for the computer. So now I don't really like how the buttons are positioned. I think this should be a little bit further this way. We need to add maybe 50 or 60 pixels to the X. So we're going to go up to start, and we're going to say plus 10. Let's see what that looks like. Maybe another 10. Or, I don't know, we're really close. Maybe just 5. Okay, I like that, but I want it to be lower. So we're going to go down to the Y, and we're going to say maybe even plus 10. Might get some overlap of the buttons, but we'll fix that in a second. Okay, and then I want the button to be smaller. So this is the X and Y position, and this is the width and height of the button. The width's pretty okay. The height is much too big, so we're going to go down to 50. And maybe 40, and I take it back about the width, because the width is still a little big. We'll go down to 80. Okay, I like that, but the start is in the wrong spot. And this little number off to the side, this is our X offset. So I would probably even go down to 0, because it was pretty far off. Well, okay, maybe not 0. Let's do 15. 20. I know there's a lot of trial and error in doing this, but luckily you won't have to do this for like everything. And then the Y could be a little bit higher. There is a Y offset, but it's not in the parameters. And we're going to say 5. Yeah, that's perfect. And then we're going to do pretty much the same thing for the other one, except we're going to put it a little bit lower. I really need to stop right-clicking my mouse. It's getting really annoying. Sorry. I still have not gotten my other keyboard out, and it's definitely messing with me. I think the Y offset's going to be about the same for this one, except we need the Y position to be, our height is 40, and we're starting at 10, plus half the height, but we can ignore that. So we need to do at least 50, and we probably should add 20 more just to be safe, so we'll go 70. There we go. Got 2 buttons in the middle, and then there's one more thing I wanted to do before we were finished with this tutorial. I wanted to add an image. So we're going to say private buffered image, and it's going to be like what? We'll just say title. I don't know. import buffered image, and we're going to say title equals loader dot image, and we have to put in our path. Now your path is going to start in your source folder, because I always keep my resources in a folder inside my source folder. So it's going to be /res, which is the folder I put it in, I think. I may not have put it. Okay, I do have it. It's going to be res images /title, and that's going to load our image. And then when we go down here, we're going to say g.draw image title, and we're not going to use all these parameters because we don't need to. We're going to say driver.width divided by 2 minus 100, and then we're going to put it at driver.height divided by 2. Well, we're not going to base off the center, we're just going to say 200. And then we're going to get rid of a lot of these. Hey, I don't know what just happened. Okay, so now we check and see what it looks like. Probably be off center. Oh, input equals null. So we have a small issue that I will get back to you in just a second. I knew what it was exactly when I stopped that video. So our problem is I didn't put the file extension on the end, which is a really stupid mistake on my part. So hopefully now it will work. There we go. I got my image. It's not in a great place, which I'm not quite sure how that happened. But these things can be adjusted. It's so weird. It's only at 200. It really should not be that low. That's so weird. I've never seen it that low before. Well, no, I guess it does make sense. It is a really big image. And we want a little bit more to the left. So let's put 125. And maybe go up to 130. Alright, now we got a nice little menu screen, not a whole lot of features, but still a menu screen. Still works. If you're a Linux user, go ahead and run it. It might be a little slow on Linux. It works differently on Linux, but it does work very well when you finish the game. It will still work just as well as it does on Windows when you have the game fully finished. But yeah, you should be safe to run it on Linux now. It should be good to go. And I'll see you guys for the next video.